Hey guys, what's up? I want to share my overall review and thoughts on the movie Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, Star Wars Episode 9. Just because it is actually one of my favorite Star Wars movies. Um, I know it's one of the more kind of controversial ones, and it's understandable. But it is, like, I'm just being honest, like it actually is one of my favorites. I'm a sucker for the finales for some reason. Like I just absolutely love episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, episode 6, Return of the Jedi, and episode 9, Rise of Skywalker. I absolutely love the end of all three of the Star Wars trilogies. I almost don't even really know why exactly. I don't know. I just love the finales in Star Wars, I guess. Um, but anyways, yeah, I do love Rise of Skywalker, mostly just because I've been able to recognize the good in this movie other than just like the usual flaws that most people point out, and I've kind of been able to see past those glaring flaws that most people would typically point out in Rise of Skywalker, like the whole thing with the dagger, for example. I know that gets a lot of uh, critics. People critique that whole part of the plot quite a bit, which is understandable. And then Emperor Palpatine coming back, people critique that quite a bit. Again, understandable, but I've been able to see the good in this movie. What is actually great about it, in my opinion, and that's that if you pay enough attention watching the movie, you'll notice that Ray Ray ultimately defeating Palpatine, right? She absolutely 100% could not have done it on her own. Like it would be absolutely impossible for her to have done that on her own. Like there's no way she'd be able to do it by herself. And I think that's a lot of the whole point, is that she relied on the Skywalker family. She relied on the Skywalker legacy to defeat Palpatine. So it's almost as if the Skywalkers themselves, they're the ones that truly defeated Palpatine, because she was just like a vessel for the Skywalkers. Leia trained her, Luke trained her for a period of time. She had that connection with Ben Solo, which of course, Ben Solo is also a Skywalker because he's the son of Leia, right? And you'll notice this, like, if you pay enough attention, so that's why I don't have like all that much of a problem necessarily with Rey being the one defeating Palpatine, and Rey kind of just being more powerful than you would normally think that she would be. Um, that's a big reason why I'm okay with it, because it's clear as day that she's completely relying on the Skywalkers to do what she did. If it weren't for that, I think that's a lot of the whole point of Rise of Skywalker, of the movie Rise of Skywalker and the sequel trilogy just in general, is she wouldn't have been able to do what she did. She wouldn't have been able to embark on that journey without the Skywalkers. The Skywalker family was the whole point of all of it. You know, like, for example, she went out to that island after she fought Kylo Ren, and after she, healed him, and he kind of had that redemption moment, and like she was just gonna give up, like she was straight up just gonna give up, and then Luke talked her out of it. you know Luke knocked some sense into her, just like how she knocked some sense into him, in the last movie, which I know obviously that's very controversial. In the Last Jedi, what Luke did, but you know what I mean. Like she completely relied on the strength that the Skywalker family gave her. You um, like for example, oh, there's some people in the background. But yeah, like for example, if Ben Solo didn't go to Exegol to assist Rey in her time of need with Palpatine, facing Palpatine, she would have been completely screwed, you know. So that's my whole point, you know. That's why I say like it doesn't ruin the chosen one prophecy with Anakin Skywalker being the chosen one. It doesn't ruin that because it was through the children of Anakin Skywalker that Palpatine was defeated. Rey completely relied on the strength and the support and the training of the children of Anakin Skywalker to defeat Palpatine. Therefore, Anakin is still the chosen one. So that's my kind of point of view of Rise of Skywalker. I also just think it's just a really fun movie. I don't know, it's just a fun Star Wars movie. I thought it was cool that at the end it kind of went full circle, had a full circle moment with the whole Skywalker saga. Ben Solo bringing Rey back to life. Ben Solo carrying, saving the one that he cared about from dying, bringing her back to life. Basically, he did what Anakin failed to do. Ben Solo did what Anakin sought to do, which was save the one he cared about from dying. So he did what his grandfather failed to do, that Anakin intended to do. So that was kind of a cool, like, full circle moment that I noticed. And I think there's a lot more to it that I'm not thinking of, but like those are the general points that I kind of want to get across. As to why like I actually appreciate Rise of Skywalker, and I see it as a good closing point for the Skywalker saga. It's just the fact, like I said before, like she completely relied on the Skywalker family. She completely relied on the Skywalker legacy in order for the Sith to be defeated. That's just something I noticed. So I don't think the whole story and the movie in general is really as bad as people make it out to be. And also I was also going to mention the part at the end of the movie when Rey is just exhausted, knocked down to the ground, and she calls out to the Jedi of the past. I thought that was really cool. How she relied on the Jedi of the past to get back up and face Palpatine and defeat him finally. Anakin's voice speaking to her. I thought that was really neat as well. I know a lot of people don't really like that scene. It's not for everybody, but me personally, I really liked it. I actually thought it was quite inspiring. That whole concept of just like not relying on your own strength, but relying on strength and support from others, and from like divine sources, to be able to overcome insurmountable odds, I guess you could say. But yeah, that's all I want to say about Rise of Skywalker. I felt impressed to share my thoughts about this movie because I actually really like it. But anyways, catch y'all in the next video.